What is up, everybody? We are back. We're cruising along, cruising through the first round. We're at pick Dynasty rookie pick 109. Excited to look at it. It's for me, but we'll get to that. As always, joined by Brian, our dad. How's it going, fellas?
How's everybody doing?
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Yeah, we're at the 109 here and talking about it in today's video. Before we get into it, if you could like the video, subscribe to the channel, that'd be great. We just did a live rookie mock draft for Dynasty, and we'd love to have you guys in there with us drafting, so it's not just us drafting at every spot. But yeah, we're looking at the 109. We're going to look at some potential players there, who we would take, and also some trade values for it. I think as of now, if you haven't watched the previous videos, so basically how our top 8 has gone is Bijan, and then the 3 quarterbacks, Stroud, Young, Richardson, and then JSN at 5. And then we said any combination of Hendon Hooker, Will Levis, and Jahmyr Gibbs at the 6, 7, 8. And that's kind of assuming Hendon Hooker gets second or first round draft capital, which really seems like he's going to. You know, one mock draft that we're looking at right now, he's going 55th overall to the Lions. I've seen him in the first round. I've seen him, several times in the second round. So assuming that's how it plays out, I think those 8 should be going. So Dad, we'll start with you. You said you have someone in mind. Who would you take at the 109, assuming those 8 guys are gone?
Yeah, probably Jordan Addison, I think, would be a good pick about this point. Good wide receiver who's had some good experience in college with, University of Pittsburgh and USC, and caught a lot of passes, seems to run routes pretty good. He's not a burner or anything like that, but he's like, every time you look at him, you go, geez, that guy's open all the time. So that's where I think I would say at this point.
Brian, what about you? Oh, by the way, Addison seems to be the most mocked team he is going to. It's the Vikings, the 23rd overall. So I really like that. But Brian, what do you think? The 109 there.
Yeah. I like Addison there too. I think it kind of does come down. And possibly Quentin Johnson, like as far as like you just kind of have to pick like who you think. Like all the quarterbacks are gone at this point. You start jumping into the tight end pool. I think there's a pretty big gap between Gibbs and the next running back, so you're probably okay to wait there. But yeah, I guess it kind of depends. Like if you're not picking again until 8, like you have a pretty big decision to make. But I know we've kind of talked about we've definitely entertained the idea about like, well, what do you do with this pick as far as like, do you actually make the pick, or are you trying to use it to trade up? Are you trying to use it to trade back? And yeah, we've kind of gone through all those scenarios. So yeah, I don't mind Addison there if I was actually making the pick.
Yeah. Again, I mean, if he does go to a team like the Vikings, I think that's a great spot for him. I'm happy with him or Quentin Johnston, kind of whoever you want to take there. I've been vocal in saying I think Quentin Johnston has the most potential to be like a top tier wide receiver, but I think there's a little bit safer of a floor with a guy like Addison, obviously with JSN. So I'm happy either way. I mean, I don't think I guess I could use it as like a tiebreaker. Like in this mock draft, we're looking at Johnston and Addison actually go back to back, 22nd, 23rd. Johnston goes to the Ravens. Addison goes to the Vikings. I could use that as a tiebreaker and be like, I like the Vikings spot for Addison more than the Ravens spot for Johnston. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty straightforward there, right? I mean, is there anyone else potentially like?
I mean, I kind of like if we are using that mock, I really do like the idea of Flowers to the Giants as well. Yeah, like I think you've mentioned in some of the other videos, Mike, like you really want him to go to the Chargers. But I mean, the Giants have. I mean, it's kind of wide open there. Like not that he's necessarily going to be a number one, but there's definitely room for a healthy target share.
I think if we just mock the guy instead of trying to figure out what team he's going to, I think it turns out. I think Flowers. It's kind of, to me, there's a little bit of a coin flip there between Zay Flowers and Jordan Addison. They're both pretty good.
Yeah.
If we just, but in reality, after they get drafted by their NFL team, the rookie team, we do. I think it would be smart to take a look at and see what team he goes to, and we know the Vikings. Teams like the Vikings and the Chargers are a little more passing prolific than the New York Giants, but we know the guys are pretty good. Zay Flowers is definitely pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of think, is Zay Flowers like my second receiver in this draft? I always go back and forth between these three guys, to be honest. So we'll look at some trades if you guys like. I've seen, looking at just some database here of some recent trades, and I've seen some straight up like 109 for George Kittle, 109 for who else did I see? I saw 109 for George Pickens, and 109 for Aaron Rodgers. Any of those that you guys like or really dislike?
I would take. I'd give up the 109 for Rodgers if I was a contender and needed that second QB. Like, I mean, I think it's kind of a short-term rental. I mean, I'd give up Pickens also. Like, I'd be on the other side of it. Like, I'd give up Pickens I'd take the 109 over Pickens.
I agree.
Just because, like, I think Deontay is going to have a big bounce back. I mean, he was the target leader there last year. Like, not that you have to be that to be relevant, but I just want to see it a little bit more, I think.
Is it for Pickett or George Pickens?
George Pickens.
I jumped between two. Like I said, I'd rather have Rodgers than the 109, but I'd rather have George Pickens. I'd rather have the 109 over George Pickens.
Yeah. And Kittle?
Kittle, honestly, like, that's very like situation dependent, I guess. Like, I really like Kittle as a player, but as a fantasy asset, like, I'm not like super huge on him. I mean, he definitely has like the upside to like win you weeks, which helps you at tight end but I feel like so many tight ends are kind of there to a lesser degree, obviously. Like he's awesome, but San Francisco just kind of worries me in general for being such a productive offense. I just feel like there's just a lot going on there. Too many mouths to feed almost.
Okay. Dad, what about you? So is 109 for Kittle, 109 for George Pickens, 109 for Aaron Rodgers. Do you like any of those?
So am I receiving those guys?
Which side do you like?
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't trade the 109 for Kittle. I'd prefer Kittle. The Rodgers thing, the quarterback, if we're talking about a super flex, whatever your quarterback situation is, you got to think of that. But we know Rodgers is pretty old. So, yeah, I would probably get rid of Rodgers and take the 109. And George Pickens, yeah, I don't know. I think I'll keep my 109 in that case.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with all that. If I need a quarterback, if I'm a contending team and I need definitely if I need a quarterback 2, even if I need a quarterback 3, I'm probably taking that. Like if I'm 2 quarterbacks and that's it, I think I'm taking Rodgers just to be safe for injuries and bye weeks. Pickens is not the type of player. I'm all for drafting or trading away one of these 9 through 12 picks to get a solid player. Like another one I see here is the 109 for Terry McLaurin. That's something I would do because I know what McLaurin is. Yeah, I know what McLaurin is.
Yes.
Yeah. and that's kind of how it's a way to stay relevant is like if you're constantly good and you're not getting high draft picks, way to stay relevant is like, all right, I'll trade my 109, 110, 111 for McLaurin, because I think teams are going to be willing to do that, trade away McLaurin for that. And I'll take that all day, like over an unknown. Like, yeah, or Addison may be better, but there's a better chance he's not, right? Another one I see here. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, like the flip side of that is like if you are trying to like rebuild your team and you have McLaurin on it, like, and you can get a late first for him, like I don't think that's the worst thing in the world either. Like I mean, you got to have a little bit of conviction about who you're taking there, I guess. But like you can, like the 109's nothing to sneeze at necessarily. But yeah, I agree with both sides of those, like for different situations.
Especially if it plays out like we've kind of thought maybe it should, you're getting the wide receiver 2 in the class at the 109 in this draft. Maybe you don't know that when you're trading it, if you're not doing it in draft. But I think at worst, in a super flex, you should be at least getting the wide receiver 3, or you're getting, Hendon Hooker or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So,
QB4, QB5, running back 3. Like I think those are all perfectly good situations to be in for a rebuilding team. Get the youth on your size. Like not that McLaurin's old, but he's not a baby either.
Yeah, I mean, he is 20. He'll be 28 at the beginning of the year, so
right,
older than I thought. Yeah, going into this fit, and you know what he is. He's an 1,100-yard guy. He's going to catch 5 to 6 touchdowns. Probably catch 80 passes. Like good player for me if I'm contending, but not if I'm trying to rebuild. Right? Necessarily.
Are you trading the 109 for Christian Kirk?
It's interesting because I'm sure you know this, but I've tossed it around with the guy who has Kirk in our Dynasty league. Man, that's tough. I think so. Maybe with like if they can, like Dad likes to say, a little bit of sweetener. The only reason I say that is because I mean, we got Calvin Ridley coming back, and I'd like to. That's a little bit of an unknown. I think Kirk's gonna do what he's gonna do, though. So probably, maybe I'd wait till after the draft, but I think I would. If I couldn't get a sweetener, I think I'd still probably do it if I'm a contending team. Yeah. And
I feel like that's definitely one of those picks. Like you have to have. Like it's easy to kind of fall in the middle of that pick, but I don't think there's like a wrong move there necessarily. But I don't know. I don't think I would do it personally. Like I don't know. Yeah, just Ridley coming back. Like I mean, just looking at Kirk's stats from last year, it's like I think at best, like that's kind of what he'll do. I mean, that's great. Kind of a like yeah, it's not bad at all. I mean, like it's what wide receiver, like 15 or something like that, 18.
In half PPR, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Oh wow, I didn't think he was that high.
Yeah, he caught 8 touchdown passes, which maybe is a little sneaky with 84 catches, 1,100 yards.
Yeah, I guess maybe I saw those numbers a little bit more and didn't see the touchdowns as much, but. I gotta assume like there's that's definitely like the ceiling, and like you said, like no, not bad. I mean, like how much better could you possibly get for the 109? So maybe I need to reevaluate a little bit.
Yeah, ceiling, but I also think it's like a safe ceiling, because Zay Jones caught 80 passes, and I think he's going to be the one that's affected the most. So, so we've talked about it in the past, like a move back. And what it would take for you to move back. So what about, Dad, you trade the 109, you move back to the 111, and you pick up the 209. Are you okay with that?
To the 201?
209.
209.
So you move back to the 111, and you pick up a 209.
I'd be all right with that. I'd do that.
Yeah, Brian, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's kind of borderline. I don't really like I don't like the 109 pick that much, but I like the 209 like way less, like I don't know. I think I need a little more, like, just Dad, we're just gonna keep saying the sweetener from now on, the sweet and low. Just go ahead and squeeze for the get that 4th round pick thrown in there, even though that's almost nothing, but get a little bit more. Honestly, I don't even think I would do that. Like, I don't know what I'm saying. No, I don't like it.
I guess it comes down to, like, we just talked about at the beginning of this video. I talked about Quentin Johnston here. I would be okay with, obviously, Addison, and then Dad mentioned
And
Flowers.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I'm okay with either one of those 3, and I'm picking up a second. That, when it comes to that, this is where I would do it. I'm just like, give me this extra second, assuming I couldn't get more, of course.
It's true. Yeah, like it's not a bad point to make.
And even, I mean, like, Zach Charbonnet is still out there. Like, I've seen him mock to the Cowboys. I've seen him mock to the Chargers, like, probably in the 3rd round. So, all right, let's get one more trade in here. Another super flex. I don't think I'm going to get to a regular one. Would you trade 109 and Deontay Johnson for Jalen Waddle? Dan.
109. Say that again.
109 and Deontay Johnson for Jalen Waddle.
Yeah. I think Waddle's, though. If I'm on the receiving end of that, I'd love to have Waddle. So, and I think I would even do it on the other end. Johnson, and then I can get a wide receiver. Yeah, I think I would do that on both ends.
Yeah, I'd rather have the Deontay side. Like, I think he's a little undervalued this year. Yeah.
No, go ahead. You can finish your thoughts. Sorry.
Well, yeah, I just think that, like, he's still going to be like the target share leader. Like, he's like kind of I mean, he's gonna catch a touchdown this year. Like, I mean, there's no way they can, like, be as bad as they were. And even if they are, like, I think the floor is, like, very safe, and like Dad said, like, and you get an extra guy also. Like, I mean, we're talking about the 9th guy overall in this draft. Like, I know we're not, like, super high on a lot of these guys, but it's like,
well, there's
that's a great.
I'd consider it more than just an extra guy. So
that's what I'm saying. Like we're talking about, like, the 9th guy overall in this draft. Like you said, Mike. Like, you got Charbonnet there. Like, you could take the first tight end. Like, yeah. Like, I really like. I would definitely take the Deontay and the pick.
Off the top of your head, Brian, what were Jalen Waddle's numbers last year, if you had to guess?
Well, I know they threw, like, ridiculous. Like, I think Tua had, like, over 3,000 yards to Hill and him, didn't he? I'm gonna say 1,300 yards. I have no idea about the catches, honestly. On 90 catches.
75. 8 touchdowns. Yeah, he had 1350. So
yeah. Was it over 3,000 to those two guys? Probably not. If he only got 13.
It was.
It
was. Tyreek had 1,700.
Well, don't forget Tua. Tua was out for a good portion of the year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Tyreek had over 17, so it was over 3,000. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, like, those guys. I remember they were talking about them, like, pre like fantasy drafts last year, and it's like their team is just so fast.
Yeah.
And I mean, and we see, like, I mean, you could have a little dump off, like, 1 yard pass to Tyreek, and he's just so, like, shifty and everything, and it seems like Waddle's kind of like along the same lines as far as, like, he's just so quick, like, he's hard to get down. So yeah, that's crazy.
I'm taking Waddle all day. Like, I think it's a no-brainer to me. Like, the potential of Waddle. He's going into his third year only. Like, I know Deontay's only going into his fifth, but like I think Deontay is like a Christian Kirk or a Terry McLaurin type of guy at best. That's what he's shown his best year, and that's just 1 year. So I don't know. I'm taking Waddle there. Real quick, like a yes or no, and then we'll kind of finish it up, or yes or no, and you can kind of back it up with one sentence. We talked about trading this 109 or the 108, but we're at the 109 for a 2024 first. Are you doing it now? Dad.
Say that again. Okay, 109.
Are you trading your 109 for a 2024 first, not knowing obviously what pick that 2024 first is?
I think I'd do that.
Okay. Brian, are you at that point where you do it?
No, I don't think so. I think I'd still just rather make the pick. Okay. Shoot your shot. Like we said, like there's plenty of receivers here that you can shoot your shot on. Like, so just grab someone and hold on to them for a year. They turn into something.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. I think I would. This is where I start thinking about it. Is if I knew there was a solid chance it was going to be like, especially if it was going to be like a 106, like I could see easily it being in the top 6 or 5 or something. So, but we'll finish up there, and that's our 109 review. Again, like the video, subscribe, and we'll be back with the 110.